How the heck does that store genetic information? I'm glad you asked. Deoxyribonucleic acid consists of two strands of nucleotides with the sugar and phosphate groups, but the actually important part is the nitrogenous base, which comes in four flavors: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. These bases can form base pairs through hydrogen bonds, where adenine goes with thymine and cytosine goes with guanine. These bonds are what holds the two strands of DNA together. A gene is a section of this DNA that codes for a special trait by carrying a certain sequence of base pairs, which is like a recipe for making a protein. Why proteins? Because they're really important. They transport molecules, act as enzymes, and determine the way you look. For example, the difference between brown and blue eyes is the amount of a pigment called melanin in the cells of the iris. The OCA2 gene codes for P protein, which we believe controls the amount of melanin in cells, meaning that the proteins made from this gene could be what determines your eye color. Pretty cool. There's just one issue. Your DNA and its information is in the nucleus, but proteins are made in organelles called the ribosomes. How do we get the information from A to B? The answer is RNA. It's kind of like DNA, just that it's most often a single strand. It uses ribose instead of deoxyribose, and instead of thymine, it uses uracil, which makes it less stable. But that's besides the point. Here's what RNA actually does. Let's say you want to make the protein coded for by this gene. An enzyme called RNA polymerase will split the DNA and make a strand of RNA with a complementary basis, essentially copying the information from the DNA to the RNA. This is called transcription. The new strand is called messenger RNA or mRNA because it carries this message out of the nucleus to a ribosome. Remember how I said that a gene is like a recipe for a protein? Well, on the mRNA, which carries the same base sequence as that gene, every group of 3 bases, which is called a codon, codes for a specific amino acid, which are the building blocks for proteins. These amino acids are carried by special molecules called transfer RNA or tRNA, which have a unique anticodon that can only attach to its matching codon on the mRNA. The job of the ribosome is to read over codons on the mRNA and attach the matching tRNA molecules, which then leave behind their amino acid. As the ribosome moves along the mRNA and attaches more tRNA, which happens a couple thousand times, the amino acids combine into a polypeptide chain, which is just a really long chain of amino acids that can be bunched up, creased, smacked, and folded into a protein. Oh yeah, did I mention that you have a bunch of DNA? You have about 20,000 protein coding genes, each thousands to millions of bases long, and that only makes up around 1% of your entire DNA. The rest is just non-coding. Plus, almost every cell in your body contains your entire genetic code, but certain genes can be turned on and off depending on the cell, which is good, because otherwise your brain cells might just start making stomach acid, which would not be good.